Hello, welcome. Welcome back to another Onkruid video. Holy shit. What the fuck happened? I was not aware of a new update. New weapons for every character, but I didn't even complete the previous new weapons. Instantly though, I'm just gonna craft this because I have no self-control. And I'm gonna play with it immediately. Blood God's Legacy. Moon's Wheel of Fire. Slow attack that strikes targets in a large area. You're aiming at causing 130 damage and applying bleed. Well, don't mind if I do. The game really is getting out of hand now. Holy shit. What is going on? Specific skill trees. So why is it only the Sentinel that's here? What is this button? This is reroll your entire pool, I guess. Riftwalker. The spell blade will now interact by astral rifts. Alright, there's a lot of new stuff. Increases the rate at which you gain astral rifts, yeah, sure. Increases the damage modifier of your cosmic form. Movement speed. Chance of finding astral rifts, yes, please. All skills now have a chance to apply vulnerable. Okay, but are you sure you want to reset all your skills? No, I don't. The only thing I'm wondering is, why is it only the Sentinel that is over here? I think we definitely have like enough stuff to unlock everything here, right? But this just unlocked like a whole new area of the game and a whole new potential to go further than the 100 episodes I first thought to go. Head start damage dealing 3% extra damage. Okay, but sincerely, like, why is it only the Sentinel? Do I need to... Because the Sentinel is not like my highest level character at all or anything. So I don't necessarily know why it's all... Show only incomplete achievements. Jesus Christ. Purchase all nodes in the central skill tree. Wait, we have missing nodes in the central skill tree? No, we don't. Right? We have every... No, this is new. Gives you a chance to lock a power-up in place, saving it for your next level up. I don't necessarily know why that would be useful, but aha! Okay. So now we're talking. Now we're speaking. I'm immediately gonna go into the Berserker Barbarian, whatever his name is, tree. Barbarian. Rage by killing enemies. Become enraged. Yes, please. I'm first of all gonna unlock every single one of these like new abilities because I feel like they have just completely changed up the game. These characters don't seem to be unlocked yet here. Did we complete the entire tree now? Yeah, I guess we did, so I don't necessarily know what we still need to unlock these guys, but either way. Increase the potency of enraged benefits, yes please. I really like shouldn't even be showing this because I am just buying all upgrades. Unlocks the following runes last resort. While your health is below 30%. Pickup range modifier, thank you. Yes. Cast frequency, yes please. Block power, sure. I'm just gonna completely buy out this entire tree. There is so much new stuff. There are so many upgrades. Adrenaline, increasing your cast frequency per missing health point. Alright, so they transformed the Barbarian into like a glass cannon guy with this, I think. Increases the amount of rage you gain per kill by 30%. All your skills of slam type. Multicast modifier. I feel like we are just gonna be extremely overpowered now, no? Any direct damage you cast has 10% chance to kill enemies. Alright, so that's kind of an execute rune. I want to just, for one character now, completely... You don't have enough skill points with this character. Oh, shit. And how do we get more skill points? Just by leveling up? We should have paid a bit more attention to it then, I guess. Because I definitely... This is applied to all of your characters. I'm just gonna... I'm a bit overwhelmed right now. I'm just gonna play a run I have no runes then, right? Yeah, right over here. Increase your cast frequency per missing health point. Any damage has a chance to kill enemies. We don't need a last resort rune. We don't need a head start rune. Decapitator sounds interesting though. Runic power cost 3. We would have to get rid of some. I think I'm just gonna calmly roll into a little run. I'll just play a random map because I think by now we need like everything still. And now we finally also need the newest materials. The void essences and stuff. So I think we just head in there at max difficulty and we will just see what happens. That was almost 6 minutes of me just messing around. But I am all of a sudden like really excited to get back into the game. We start off with ground slam as well. And I think the build we are going for is definitely just going to be focused on like some healing, some bleeding abilities. This is the rage bar, I guess. Does it deplete if we don't kill enemies? I don't think it does. I think it will just deplete after being triggered. It's kind of like a berserk mode in Guild Wars 2. It's kind of like Trevor's power in GTA 5. That is a great, an amazing starting point. Yeah, no, I'm really feeling the hype. I was wondering like what am I really gonna get back into when I start recording again, but maybe we should just go back to the old school, back to the roots. Let me see you shaking your boots and go straight into just, oh man, some good old Soulstone Survivors. I didn't have the time to record lately, and I also don't necessarily often, these enemies are new, don't often play Soulstone Survivors off camera, so that's why I really have no experience with, oh, my rage is popped. No experience with these new things whatsoever, and lock skill is the new thing as well. So I'm just as excited as you guys are to check everything out. Maybe you guys play this game on your own time and you have already found out about all of these things and this is all old news, but for me, it is a whole new game. And what I appreciate most is that it makes us feel overpowered right from the start, which is not only just like really overpowered, which is fun. It doesn't make it so that I am immediately thinking like, oh, okay, so the later difficulties will be a breeze, but I do appreciate them making the early game a bit faster. Jeez, my throat is acting up, just like your mom's last night, because I filled it up. Seaman. Either way, I'm just excited to be back, excited to be here. Just like Arnold Schwarzenegger, we all knew that I was gonna be back, but we never knew when, you know? And now this is kind of like a free day that I have. I am gonna be spending it. Why is my area so large already? Everything is so crazy. I feel so strong and impactful. We never knew when I was exactly going to be back, but I am back now. And I am so glad to be here. I've been recording a couple of videos today already. I have recorded a LOLDOL video, I have recorded a Noita video, and now I am recording Soulstone Survivors. After wondering like, what should I record? Was that like our second multicast already? The upgrades that we have received so far have been absolutely perfect, so I think we are going to be able to make a nice run out of this, where we hopefully collect a bunch of the new materials and void essences. Soulstone Survivors is a comfort game, you know? It's a game that I can always revert back to, I think, or at least that's how it feels right now. It's exactly the same with RuneScape and Minecraft and things like that. It's just a game that you can always boot up and you can feel kind of welcome again. The game, it feels like the game is accepting you with open arms. It's never angry that you spent a bunch of time doing other things in the last couple of months. It's never angry that you don't even know that there was an update. It just accepts you immediately again for who you are. And I think those are the kinds of games that I definitely should play more in my life. It's a bit different with games like League of Legends or stuff, and I still absolutely love those games as well. The competitiveness, the mechanics, the difference that every single game has is a beautiful aspect of that. But it's not a game that welcomes you with open arms all the time. Most of the time, it's a game that kind of punches you in the face as soon as you boot it up, you know? And a special contribution to that feat is definitely made by the community. If you are not up to speed and up to par with what has changed and how your champion works and what the meta is and how to play macro and micro in a beneficial manner or in a great manner, you will get flamed right from the get-go. those people literally don't have any mercy for you at all. And these kinds of games like Minecraft, games like RuneScape, games like Soulstone Survivors, or any type of survivor games really, where you don't necessarily have to be up to speed with every single detail. They are the games that you should introduce more time for in your life, I think. If you are a gamer, of course. Or maybe even if you're not a gamer. If you want to get into the world of gaming, maybe look for a game that evokes the same kinds of feelings in you, you know? A game that you can always just boot up, enjoy for a while, and it doesn't feel like an obligation, or you don't feel like you have to read a 50-page guide before starting up your first match. A game that you can just get into, enjoy, and then get back out of again. That is, I think, the beauty of gaming, if you can find those kinds of games. Do we want to change up anything about our build? Maybe if we can find Flurry, we would like to replace one skill with Flurry, maybe like the Ground Slam, causing damage. If this attack hits at least 5 enemies, you regenerate health. Yeah, I don't think we need the Ground Slam. I think we would be better off with some Flurry to up our damage a little bit more, so we are not immediately gonna turn off the don't give me active skills anymore. And mainly, the main focus is exploring these new options and just getting back into the groove. Getting back into the groove of Soulstone Survivors, because I have definitely become rusty. That's another beautiful aspect. Even though it is so simple, so elegant, so straightforward, you still have to kind of pay attention and be ready to face what the game throws at you. It's not a completely passive experience either. It still makes the neurons in your brain fire, that's for sure. It still stimulates the visual cortex, it stimulates your prefrontal cortex because you need to really think about things, you need to plan stuff. It stimulates the amygdala because it can still instill fear whenever a giant lord all of a sudden launches an AoE attack right at your location. And what I'm trying, I shouldn't have taken that upgrade. What I'm trying to say is that in general, it still, you know, it still elicits some action potentials in those old neurons. It keeps you awake, keeps you hyped. Let's have our negative effects do their thing for a second. And now, once we have our enrage popped, I think we can head straight back in there. It's definitely a game changer. Kind of reminds me of the Path of Exile specializations or the Guild Wars specializations, because I mean they are just literally specializations as you have in other games. But it seems to be even more of a game changer than I expected. And this is just for one character. I am really just overflowing with excitement, which you can probably notice because I can shut up about it to explore all the new features and all the new things that the game offers. Quickly gonna recharge a little bit. They added a little indicator to show you how long your lasting effects are actually lasting. That is very welcome. Flurry, there we go. Ground Slam, I'm sorry. You served us well in the early game, but now I think Flurry is going to be more applicable to our build, more beneficial for us. It's going to provide us with more applications of negative effects, which is exactly what we are still looking for. Now that the Enrage is going, we are going to move in. Beautiful stuff. A little bit more relentlessness, so a little bit lower cooldowns are always going to be welcome, because now we can clearly see when our Bloodlust and Scent of Blood would actually be up for eternity, which is like not the case at all so far. Awesome. Really nice. I also love that there's a new incentive again to play on the highest difficulties, because of course that gives you the highest experience, and now finally the experience is paying off. I guess we could have definitely expected beforehand already that the experience and the levels would play a large role again in the next couple of updates, because they will never just like make you farm experience for nothing in these types of games, because they focus and rely on replayability, of course. But now that the incentive is actually there, I feel more motivated, you know, because you can now actually see the changes when they are happening, and you are not just stacking up levels for eternity to only after the next update receive the actual beneficial effects. In short, my dopamine systems are primed right now. They are more active, and I feel more motivation to get onto the Soulstone Survivors map and really, there we go. Kane is up to speed, or you can't see it because of it's just a Steam overlay, but one of my buddies, Kane, has just started playing the game again. yeah, I was just not aware of the updates at all. How did it slip past me? I guess it slipped past me just because my life has been very busy lately, and when I have free time, I have been investing it in my social life, in playing some League of Legends with my friends, and also just in reading a lot of books. People that watch every video on my channel will know about my adventures in Brave New World by Aldous Huxley. Truly was an amazing book. Yesterday I spent some time reading or trying to finish a bit more of this book. De man die zijn vrouw voor een hoed nam, or The Man That Mistakenly Took His Wife for a Hat. A book where every chapter is a story, a case study about a neurological patient, so somebody that has problems with their brain. For example, one of the cases I read yesterday was someone with a neurological syphilis, so an infection of the brain, and she called it Cupid's disease herself because she was really sexually and romantically active all of a sudden, even though it was a woman that was like 96 or 86 years old, so a very old woman, and all of a sudden her libido rise to the skies again, and she was ready to go to town, you know, go to Pound Town, find herself a nice and young steed, and just get absolutely smashed. And it was an inspiring story, not necessarily because of the details I just so vigorously described, because I mean, thinking about an 86-year-old woman having sex is not necessarily the most inspiring thing out there, although I think at the old age you still should be sexually active if you can. I think it's a beautiful aspect of life in every single... I was gonna say something very dangerous at every single age. Sus. Either way, one of the things that really inspired me about the story was that this person was like, you know, I don't want my brain to be destroyed. I want to be careful. And I realized that there is some danger in having this syphilis infection, this syphilis disease. But is it possible to avert the dangers while still keeping my symptoms intact? Because she loved the new sexually active part of her, the part that seems to like relive her puberty, relive her sexual active times. And the doctor, the psychiatrist and the author of the book, it's not a psychiatrist, it's a neurological doctor, was like, you know, that's actually a beautiful aspect of my job. These people are sick, they have symptoms, you know, they have a disease that comes to fruition in meticulous ways, in devilish ways. But maybe we don't always have to focus too much on curing things that the people don't necessarily want to be cured. And that's, I think, a beautiful aspect of our job. I think it's something that I will definitely take with me. When a person is like feeling depressed, and for example, it makes it so that, oh, I'm proud of myself for immediately coming up with such a great example. That person is, for example, a very high functioning scientist. Just to give an example, right? And she spends all of her days in the lab. Look at my progressiveness also of using a female example in a scientist role. I'm really on a roll. I'm back into the YouTube grind. I'm back on the commentary. My headspace is fixed and I can provide some insightful commentary again. She is a high-functioning scientist, but it means that she has no room for social life, for romantic endeavors, for starting up a family, for reading, for personal growth. All she is focused on is her job because she derives some form of like gratitude or benefits from it in her own life. She loves her job, but she invests all fibers of her body into it every single day. She falls into burnout and depression. Burnout kind of being like the intermediary stage sometimes towards depression, or toward depression if you're from the US. And she is like, you know, I hate feeling sad, but I do realize that this signal of having to slow down and having to kind of stay in bed for a couple of days, kind of having to take life take a chill pill from life for a second, I appreciate that and I know that it's beneficial for me. Is it possible to like solve my mood but still keep myself like kind of active, or no, keep myself inactive in a sense, to solve my mood, make me have energy again and stuff, but make it so that I don't necessarily have to pick up my old life again. That's, I think, beautiful, and it's something where I as a psychologist can come in like, all right, we'll look at your mood and we'll look at how, for example, this is such a clear indication that you need to make some different life choices without completely throwing away your old life. So you can still definitely go into, we're definitely gonna finish up everything, so I'm just gonna go down the pardon me, go down the rabbit hole of firing up every single ability on this list. To kind of, what am I saying, solve the actual problems, but don't necessarily immediately see symptoms as problems, because maybe sometimes the symptoms of like not feeling the drive to work every day anymore, not feeling the drive to talk to her colleagues, not feeling the drive or the motivation to completely ignore her own boundaries and personal boundaries and her low energy levels and keep on working. No, just like chill for a second, slow down in life, but make sure that she feels better about it by showing her that this type of life is also valuable. I think that's the main core point I take away from the stories I read in the book yesterday. Like, make sure that you don't solve what doesn't need to be solved, if that makes sense. And that's counterintuitive because you want to help people, so you want to rid them of their problems, but don't automatically assume that the symptoms are problems. Thank you very much for watching. It was such a blast to play this game again. I think this is episode 99. The big 100 coming up. See you in the next one. Bye bye.